Hello and welcome to UK Versus. So today I want to talk about the Chelmsford Regionals and the state of the game as it is at the minute and why I think something needs to give and we need to bring something back. So at the Chelmsford Regional we saw some amazing decks, we saw some amazing players coming down, and as the commentary team put it themselves, usually from the EU we see more control, slow kind of aspect decks. But every so often, such as the Godzilla meta, such as the Ojo 2 meta, we see everyone playing hyper aggression, playing these decks that are going to kill you turn two. It seems to be the way the game is kind of going directionally. So if we take a look at Worlds, games, although they went quite long, a lot of the decks were very aggressive or they locked you out of the game. Ghidorah lost a lot with rotation, and then other characters lost a lot with the ban of Immortal Shapeshifter. And looking at Devil Jin, looking at Yume, although they're not hyper aggro, they're still very aggressive decks. And Control is slowly kind of disappearing as a viable competitive option, mainly because as we get attacks that become harder and harder to block and we don't have a significant way to punish, people can just keep exploiting that. We don't have significant deadlock threats anymore. We don't have a lot of block punishing in the same way as we used to. Yes, we still have breakers, but there's so much check hacking now. There's so many ways to stack your deck, especially when we look at characters like Devil Jin that just get to go. Breaker means nothing to me. Card pull stuffing's kind of taken a back seat recently, although we still have Runaway and there's still characters like June. Defending is not as important anymore as just turning it into a slugfest. That is evident from characters like Devil Jin just being able to go, I can put 10 cards in my card pool, play my entire hand, and it does not matter. You're not going to be able to do anything to me. Which is why I think it's time that we see the return of Reversal. I've been saying this for about 2 years now, and I've always said the exact same thing. Players are too comfortable in their own turns. They're happy just to go, I'll poke, I'll play, I'll just keep pushing and throwing attacks in and then build out, and they just don't have any kind of concern as to what your opponent's doing. Yes, there are certain characters that are outliers to this, and you are concerned about what your opponent's going to be doing in your turn. But characters like Devil Jin, characters like Ymir, characters that just want to push and want to string and want to put you on the back foot, take advantage of this lack of interaction in your opponent's turn very well. You can break a Ymir, you can break a Devil Jin, you can kind of put them off tilt, you can put them off their footing for a little bit, but at the end, not gonna make much of a difference if they can build to 15 foundations with no credible deadlock threats to be used against them. If they can just keep playing more and more attacks cheaply or keep recycling attacks, looking at things like Tetra Terror, Cameo Camouflage, Aerial Bolt, looking at all these ways that can mess with your opponent's turn and the way that they want to interact. So having something like Reversal, which basically goes, cool, I'm going to block your attack and then I'm going to swing back at you in your turn. I'm going to make your turn just as much of a threat for you as your turn is for me, is going to be a big thing. Forcing them to go down a card, add progressive to block, or take the damage and give you momentum in your turn, which means you set up to be even more of a threat. Giving more interaction, giving more ability, giving more pressure for you to put on your opponent in their turn while setting up future interactions, as well as having these attacks that are going to be more defense matters. A lot of characters get a lot stronger if you put reversals back in. There's a lot of characters that have kind of gone off to the sides but don't have that your turn restriction, which they kind of do want. Characters like Vaxeldan will get infinitely better with Reversal. the fact that you can just go, cool, your attack's getting minus speed for each card of my card pool. My attacks are going to get plus 1 speed for each attack for each card of my card pool, which means I'll block, and then my attack gets plus 2. Then my attack gets plus 2 damage. Then I'll give your attack minus 2 speed. I'll block. I'll play another reversal and give it plus 4 damage. You create these amazing interactions. You create such issues, and you can have this kind of defense matters come back. You can make your opponent get a little bit more on edge. You can have them go, I can throw 6 attacks, but if there's a reversal anywhere within that, that's going to be an issue. And I think the best opportunity to drop that is going to be with Street Fighter 6 with the drive impact. I know I touched on this a few weeks back. The drive impact, the ability to block your opponent's attack and then launch a reversal, which is cheaper, faster, and basically gets to go, you need to make sure I can't block this or get punished for just poking, get punished for giving me this opportunity to get the momentum against you, to turn the course of this battle. And I think that is absolutely huge. That is something we definitely need to see coming back into the game. Just adding more pressure to your opponent during their turns. Basically going, you're low on health, that's fine. So many people can be extra reckless. They can use their health recklessly as a resource because they know as long as they kill in that turn, as long as they kill in their turn, you don't get another turn. Adding reversal back, adding that interaction, adding that block matters back to the game is going to lead to better interactions. It's going to lead to more fun outcomes. It's going to lead to these games that can turn on a pinhead and reward players for just doing better strategizing, for outwitting their opponents. We've got the outwit mechanic, which rewards you for having face down foundations and using them against your opponent to activate their abilities and essentially strategizing further than them. Reversal just adds another layer to that. Having an outwit kind of reversal, having this if you completely block an attack, or having these restrictions on a reversal similar to Echo Multiple, will make it a lot tougher to play, but that can be counteracted because of this increased cost to have them be more powerful, have them be turn-ending attacks, have them be attacks where your opponent goes, I can't go any further now, or I've had to use a card from my hand to keep myself alive. Is going to make the game a lot more interactable. It's going to add another dimension to this game that has kind of been lost, and is going to make it less of I throw orange, you throw orange, I throw orange, you throw orange, and more what are you holding? What do I have to play around? Why did you play one foundation pass? What am I looking at to play against it? It's going to add much more depth to these interactions. So I really do hope Street Fighter 6 does bring in Driver Impact, and I think Driver Impact being a reversal effect is going to be very solid, and I think it's something the game needs to progress further, to go deeper in its interactions and its gameplay than what we have at the minute, and to basically put players back in a position of where they're not just slinging attacks and going, well, if you die, you die, allowing you to have this opportunity to kind of get back in the game. One of the worst feelings in the world is when time is called and your opponent went second, and they get this final turn and you have no way to interact with the game other than I hope I don't die and get the tie, or I hope I don't die, I hope I don't die and get the 1-0, or I hope that but then if you have reversals, you get the opportunity to go, oh, I'm one game down, but they're at 1 health. If I can get a reversal and in this turn it's a tie, or I can get the 2-0, or I can get the 1-0 in this game and avoid the tie, it adds more depth to the game. It adds more depth of interactions. It adds more interesting interactions, and it can give your opponent pause for overextending. If your opponent checks badly and commits out, you then are basically given the green light to go, I'm going to punish you in your turn, and then hopefully when it comes back to me, punish you again in my turn. I think it'd be great to see reversal come back in some form. I hope it's been fixed. I hope it's been done, but it's something the game needs. It's something to break this all aggro kind of deadlock we're currently in, where it's just do I go first? Cool. Do I check well on my build? Yes. Do I check well on my attacks? Cool. Well, you die. Giving control players, giving the control aspect of this game a bit of a boon is something that is needed. We've seen control get less and less and less popular. It is less relevant, and it's just prolonging games. And I know that UVS are working on making games shorter, making games end around turn 3, turn 4. And control players do not fit that archetype without reversal, without being able to go, I get to punish you in your turn for how you're playing into my strategy. The kind of JoJo's, I knew you were going to do that, I'm prepared for it, here's my retaliation kind of thing. I was hoping we'd see something like this in Heroes of Exandria. Unfortunately, we didn't. So from what I can see, we're not going to see it in Attack on Titan Apocalypse. So I'm hoping we see something in Street Fighter, and that Street Fighter leads to something more, but I can get into that in another video. I will catch you all in the next one, and I'll see you all at game night. Bye.